what's going on, Jam fam? So the Brawl Talk dropped, the sneak peeks are out. I took a look at some of the sneak peeks to get an idea about Mutations, and today I just want to go over what my W's and L's for this update are. Now, I'll be honest, I'm really excited for this update. I think there's a lot of good stuff coming. I think the game's going to be a lot of fun, at least for the next month or so, but I do have a couple L's that I want to talk about in this video. So today we're going to go over what my W's and L's are for this Brawl Stars update. Let's get into it.
I see this as an absolute win.
All right, so let's start my W's off with something super basic, really simple, the Brawler. Now, we're getting two Brawlers in this update, Lily and Draco, and both of them seem like they're gonna be W's, but for different reasons. Now, Lily is another Assassin Brawler. We've gotten a bunch of Assassin Brawlers recently, so personally, I'm not super interested in her. The meta for Assassin's Brawlers is getting pretty congested. Used to be we only had a handful of them. Now it's just like every update we get a new Assassin, and I get those are fun Brawlers to play. People are really excited about them, so there are definitely gonna be people who love Lily. Me personally, though, I'm probably not gonna play her too much. Don't get me wrong, though. I really like her design. I think she's a very cool looking Brawler. I'm excited to see what kind of skin she gets in the future. I'm not crazy about Strawberry Lily, but I think that they can make some crazy cool skins for her eventually. On top of that, her super plus one attack combo is going to do like upwards of 5,000 or 6,000 damage, and that's going to be nuts. She can definitely assassinate pretty much like half the Brawler roster right away, and that's really interesting, so I think people are really going to enjoy that combo. But I do worry about how she's going to play outside of that combo, because it seems like she's going to struggle to actually like charge up her super somewhat. She does have an auto charging super just like Buzz, so she will benefit from that, and she does have a fast movement speed, so she can close distances if she needs to. But I feel like her main attack is very slow. From what I've seen in the Brawl Talk, it seemed like it took a while to get her one attack charge, and she only has one ammo, so if she does have a slow main attack, then it's going to be a problem. Now, like I said, I could be 100% wrong. I'm just eyeballing it here from the Brawl Talk, and we'll find out more when the sneak peeks for Lily actually come out. Of course, Kairos Time is going to include that somewhere in his Brawler ranking, so we'll find out about that. But if she does have a slow main attack, I think she's going to struggle to take people out quickly when she doesn't have her super. Her super does a decent chunk of damage, but if she has to run up to people to try to kill them, and if she like has very limited amount of damage without her super, then I don't see her really being like super meta or anything like that. But like I said, she does have an auto-charging super, and she does have fast mobility, so she might be balanced out by that. And again, like I said, I could be wrong about her reload speed. That's just eyeballing it. So again, we'll find out when her sneak peek comes out. And then there's Draco, and Draco is specifically the Brawler that I am the most hype about. I think he's super interesting, and it's been a very long time since we got a tank, so again, I'm very hype about that. Draco's got like 11,000 or 12,000 HP from what I've seen in Brawl Talk, and on top of that, he's actually got decent range. It looks like he's got something like a Nita type attack. Now, there is a caveat. He can't really like do a ton of damage when you're super up close to him. Most of his damage is done at a distance, so you want to be further away from people with Draco, as opposed to being like a normal tank where you want to be in people's faces, which I do think is a different mechanic for tanks, but I don't think it's a good mechanic for tanks. That's more of a sniper mechanic that we see, you know, something like Piper does that, or Maisie at her absolute max range with her star power, and they gave that mechanic to Draco as a tank, and I don't think that was the best call, but I don't think it's a deal breaker. I still think Draco is going to be an amazing Brawler, and that's mainly because of his super. Draco's super is absolutely wild. He gets crazy buffs when he activates it. He gets reduced damage and increased movement speed, and it actually changes his main attack mechanic from, you know, a small attack that does more damage at a distance to like a whole flamethrower that has a wide arc, and it looks like it stacks damage insanely fast. I'm very excited. I think Draco's going to be busted when he comes out, and I cannot wait to get this Brawler. So yeah, both Brawlers look really good. I think people are really going to like Lily. I'm not going to care about her too much. Like, I'll play her, obviously, but I don't think she's going to be like my favorite Brawler ever. But Draco has potential to be my new favorite Brawler, and I can't wait to see him. So yeah, both Brawlers look good. I'm excited for both of them.
This is worthless.
All right, so I only have two L's for this update, and I want to get one of those out of the way right now. And the first L is going to be to ranked. Now, I was really hoping for a couple quality of life changes in ranked, and the ones that I wanted are not in there. So I'm gonna have to give it an L personally. I know they did make some changes to like specifically like how elo works and how matchmaking works, and those are great for the people that really care about those, but I don't think those were the big things for me personally. So I'm gonna call this out an L. Again, this is a subjective thing, so if you don't agree with it, let me know down in the comments, but let me break it down for you. All right, so I have two major gripes with ranked, and one of them doesn't really even affect me, but I do think it is a true issue that lies in the game, and that's the fact that ranked isn't really a truly competitive mode in the higher ranks. The modifiers in ranked remove any form of competitiveness that players look for in this type of game, and I can't see any argument of why you want to keep those in the higher ranks of ranked. You think something like Big Friend that just like makes super cheesy brawlers, like it makes Tick have 10,000 HP or something like that, that's not competitive at all in my opinion. And then like the reload one, we all know that's a super cheesy modifier. So like having that in what's supposed to be your competitive mode is just kind of a joke in my opinion, and I can't believe that they didn't remove those from all of the upper ranks. I know they reduced the rate of modifiers showing up in Masters, but that's only Masters, which is the absolute top tier. And, you know, you still have to deal with it all the way up through the ladder. And even in Masters, there's still a chance you're going to get a modifier. Why not just remove it entirely? You should want to have a competitive mode that keeps your hardcore players interested in the game. That way your player base is super stable. And, you know, you can always count on those players to play every single day. Why not remove it entirely from Legendary and Masters? That way your hardcore players, once they get to Legendary, actually have their competitive environment. And the casual players like me can still, you know, wallow away down in the lower ranks because, like, you know, it's fun for casual players to have the modifiers. I'm not denying that, but the competitive players don't want it. So why not just, like, cater to them? Because most casual players aren't going to get up that high anyway. All right, so that's a lot about just, like, the modifiers and how there's no competitive mode. So what's my second gripe with ranked? And that's going to be the way the rank star drops work. Now, every season, they're giving us a new rank skin that we try to grind out for, and hopefully you get it very early on because it can lead to a very frustrating experience when you're just playing ranked games over and over and over again, and you still haven't gotten your ranked skin that you want. Now, by no means am I saying the skin should be free just because you played one ranked game. That's ridiculous. You should have to earn it, and I do like the system they have to an extent right now. But there is no excuse to why you shouldn't get a skin by the time you get up to Legendary. That's just crazy, and there are players that have been affected by that. In my opinion, there needs to be some form of pity system that allows players to get access to that skin without it being totally reliant on RNG. That way they have a clear-cut goal to be pushing for. Now, there's two easy ways they could implement this pity system. They could keep the old Power League system where you need to win a certain number of ranked games. That way you can get access to the skin. Or they make it so you need to achieve a certain rank, say like Mythic 1 or something like that. Either way, I think both of those systems would work, but when you reach that certain goal, then you'd get the option in the shop to actually purchase the season skin for bling or gems. And it could only be that season skin, and it would have to be purchased during that season. Otherwise, it would disappear entirely, and then it goes right back into your ranked star drops. I think that would be the perfect system in my eyes. That way, players actually have the option to get the skin on their own accord, and they don't have to rely entirely on RNG. Now, obviously, you could still get the skin before you reach those certain goals. It's just that when you do get those goals, it'll come up in your shop. That's my dream. Now, again, I'll recognize that these are very subjective complaints. There are going to be people who love the modifiers all the way through, and there are going to be people who don't really care about the ranked star drops not giving you the skin, whatever. Again, it's up to you if you care or don't care about this type of stuff, but this is my W&L list, so the fact that I care about this and I think that it should be addressed, I'm giving it an L here, so let's move on.
Perfect.
All right, now let's get back into the positive things, and the next W I want to talk about is going to be the monster eggs. Now, monster eggs obviously go hand in hand with mutations, and we'll talk about mutations in just a second here, but I want to focus on specifically the monster eggs right now. Now, while I'm not crazy about more RNG being added to the game, I do think monster eggs are very cool, and they're actually just kind of a bonus on top of what we're already getting anyway, so it can be a small buff to progression, and the drop rates seem pretty fair, in my opinion, so I'm excited to see them once they get added. All right, so first things first, we're going to get a decent amount of these monster eggs. You get 6 from the event, and then you're going to get 2 pretty much every single day during the entire event. So I think that's all very solid. And then on top of that, all the monster eggs you get are going to be added to a pool that your clubmates share. And once you reach the top, you're going to get a free skin out of that. So I think all of those are like very cool for the game, and it keeps people playing and keeps them interested in the event. So I'm excited for that in general. And like I said, the drop rates for these seem pretty fair. There's a 50% chance to get mutations out of these, and that's going to be the main reward we're looking for because we all want to play as many mutations as we possibly can to figure out what our favorites are and what works best. So getting a bunch of mutations is very cool. And even if you don't get mutations out of your eggs, then you're going to get a chance to get credits, coins, or power points out of them. And those are very good buffs anyway. It's just free rewards. So they are buffing progression a little bit for the next month. So that's cool. And on top of all of that, there's also a chance to get some very good skins out of these monster eggs, stuff like Robo Mike or Godzilla Buzz, and I think the Power Ranger Brock skins are also in those. Seeing all of that is very exciting, and it would be nuts to get Godzilla Buzz out of one of those because that skin is absolutely nuts. So yeah, I'm excited to see the eggs. Hopefully it's a cool progression buff. Hopefully we get a decent amount of mutations very early. That way we can try whatever brawlers we want and even get some crazy skins out of them. All right, so I already mentioned that I only have 2 L's for this update, the first one being ranked. Now, the next L is going to be 2 hypercharges. Now, I'm not going to complain about the number of hypercharges we're getting. We've been getting 6 pretty consistently every single update. The roster's getting filled out with hypercharges, so that's not really a big issue to me anymore. And these hypercharges we're getting in this update are also pretty unique, and they seem pretty impactful, so I'm excited about that as well. So what is the L here? That's going to be to the fact that they mentioned that they're removing Hypercharge Unleashed, and they're going to be reworking how hypercharges are acquired, but there's been no talk about that at all. They didn't talk talk about it at all in the Brawl Talk, and none of the big Supercell creators talked about it in their sneak peeks, and it makes me think that this got overlooked, or they lied about it and they didn't say anything, and this is a problem. Now, it's entirely possible on update date, we just log in, there's going to be a free hypercharge in the shop, and you just claim it right out of there. That's fine because, you know, you're still getting your free hypercharge, and you don't have to grind for it, so that's cool. But if they don't do that, then that's a huge nerf to progression for free-to-play players, because the Hypercharge Unleashed event is the main way free-to-play players actually get their hypercharges. Hypercharges are super expensive. It's 5,000 coins, and it's almost not worth buying them a lot of the time. So you're better off just trying to get free ones out of Star Drops or the Hypercharge Unleashed event. Now, I know as of right now, this is all speculation. Like I said, it's entirely possible that they just overlooked it and they didn't mention it, but I think it's a big thing, and I think people should, you know, focus on this and be really critical about it if it actually happens where we don't get our free hypercharges. So right now, I'm gonna give this a small L, and we're gonna move on.
It's beautiful.
All right, the last thing to talk about, and obviously it's gonna be a W, it's gonna be Mutations. You all knew that this was gonna be on the list somewhere, but here it is, Mutations. I think Mutations are huge. I'm excited to see what mayhem they cause, and I can't wait to get a bunch of these Mutations. So it's gonna be cool. Let's talk about it. All right, first off, I think this is gonna be a massive update. I think it's gonna change the game a lot. It's gonna make it feel a lot fresher, and a lot of brawlers are gonna feel really, really strong once you get their Mutations, and I'm excited to get a bunch of these and try them out. Also, it's gonna be really easy to get these Mutations. Like I said, they have a pretty high drop rate out of the monster eggs, something like 50% has been said, so that's very cool, and it seems like you're gonna be getting a decent amount of eggs every week, so you should be able to get a decent number of these Mutations pretty quickly. Although it does kind of suck that it is RNG reliant, so you might not care about certain brawlers' Mutations, but the upside about that though is that you're gonna play a brawler that you don't normally play, and most of the Mutations seem very strong. Like, a lot of them either give you like double shots, or, you know, you get some kind of perk like increased movement speed or increased damage or increased HP, you know, stuff like that. So that's very cool. I think some of my personal favorites are going to be Nita's. The fact that she can spawn 2 Hyper Bears is absolutely insane, especially if they run you down and they just shred you. And it's going to be very frustrating for some people. I think Tix is going to be absolutely annoying, especially if you pair it with his Hypercharge, where you're going to get run down by 3 Tick heads and then they're going to spawn a million mines. It's just going to be super annoying, you know, just like how Tick normally is, but worse. I also really like Bo's. The fact that he can lay unlimited mines is going to be really frustrating, especially if you're able to stack supers pretty quickly. I think Surge's is also super interesting. The fact that after one upgrade, he's going to be at max level. And I'm also wondering if it pairs with his served ice cold star power where he doesn't downgrade, because if that's the case, then you get 1 super for the whole game and then you're going to be at max level for the rest of the match. That's absolutely nuts if it works that way. But I'm not going to be upset with any Mutations I unlock. I think a lot of these are very strong and they're going to freshen up the game a lot, so I'm going to try as many as I possibly can. I'm excited to see how the community receives these too, because like as of right now we're all hype, but I can see people getting very annoyed by it eventually, so we'll end up seeing what happens. So those are going to be my W's and L's for this update. Now, like I said, my L's are extremely small for this update. They're pretty nitpicky if I'm totally honest. Like I said, the hypercharge thing might not even be an issue because we might just log in on update day and get a free hypercharge outright. So that remains to be seen. And then as far as ranked, like I said, not everyone's going to care about that. I really shouldn't even care about the competitive thing because I'm not sweaty, but the competitive players who do keep the game afloat, who are extremely active and play every day, they care about it. So it should be like a priority for Supercell to get that fixed. But like I said, everything else in this update is a massive W. Like, I didn't even talk about like the skins or the new Super City Rampage mode. Those are both very good. I'm excited about those as well. But, you know, like, obviously I'm excited about Mutations. Those are obviously a massive W. It's really going to freshen up the game a lot, especially for like underrated brawlers. And then like, you know, the monster eggs, those are going to be cool. We can get some progression, or even like legendary skins. That would be nuts. And honestly, I even think the brawlers are getting overlooked, even though those are both going to be pretty solid. Like I said, I think most people are going to really like Lily. Just not my cup of tea right now because we've had so many assassins in a row. But Draco, I cannot wait to get Draco. He's going to be so cool. Anyway, let me know what you thought about this update down in the comments. Let me know what your W's and L's are. And let me know if you agree or disagree with any of my W's and L's. Anyway, that's going to do it for this one. Remember, if you like my rambling, make sure you leave a like on the video. And if you're new, consider dropping a sub as well. But that's going to do it for this one. I want to thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.